California legislature destroyed a bill that would have made it easier to remove squatters from property without having to go through the long civil eviction process. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Alright, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of the state of California, and it's about a bill that was proposed there that would have made it easier to remove squatters from properties. Now, I don't exactly know why the bill failed. I think the article is going to go into the details, but I have my suspicions, right? And part of my suspicion is that they hate property owners, landlords, and anybody who basically had to work hard in order to pay for something of their own. Okay, they're socialists out there, and they believe that somebody should be able to just walk into a building and declare that they live there, and then there be no way to remove them. So yeah, it's idiocy. It's absolute idiocy. While all over the country, even in places like New York, they're trying to make it easier for a property owner to be able to remove these scammers. In California, they don't want to do that. Oh no. They think that you should be able to just camp up in someone else's houses indefinitely, and then spend tens of thousands of dollars going through the court process, for years on end to try to get rid of them. No, idiotic. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So for those of you out there in California, what do you think of, them basically this bill not passing? Do you think that the bill was pointless? Do you think that squatters deserve more rights? I mean, just let me know. I'm kind of curious. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let's get into the article. This article is coming from patch.com, and it says, California kills bill to more easily remove squatters and trespassers. Neighbors have complained of drugs, weapons, public nudity, and major fires by squatters. And I keep thinking, too, that maybe it's the bowing down to the homeless groups too. Like I hear that the homeless groups have so much power out there, which is why there's so many homeless people. But anyway, let's see what the article says. California legislators quashed a bill that would have made it easier to remove squatters and trespassers from private property. Supporters said the bill would have made it easier for property owners to remove individuals who don't have leases without having to go into lengthy civil proceedings, while opponents say it's already possible to remove trespassers and would worsen homelessness. I knew they were going to get into the whole homelessness thing. They were like, this is going to worsen homelessness. They're so worried about homelessness, they're willing to spend billions of dollars to house absolutely nobody, okay? When the rightful owner discovers that their property has been stolen by a trespasser, they dial 911, as most people in America would do. A police officer or a sheriff's deputy shows up and says, sorry, we can't help you. California is one of the only states where this nightmare is happening, said bill author Assemblyman Carl DeMaio, a Republican from San Diego, in committee. We literally have seen situations where the police or sheriff's deputy advises the rightful property owner that they may be arrested for trespassing on their own property and for demanding that someone be removed. It is time for us to clarify in state law that squatters can be removed with due process. And he's a little bit mistaken there, because the same situation can happen all over the country, okay? There's very few states that have passed laws where making it a lot easier to remove these people. Now, depending on where you're from, the laws can be more powerful, but I've heard of this happening even in places like Texas, okay? I've heard of this happening in Florida. I believe Florida recently changed their law to make it easier to remove these people, but, the worst part is that even laws that say, hey, these people without a lease can easily be removed. Well, they have fake leases. They just print leases off from online and say, look, I got a lease. Now you still can't remove me. So yeah, this is a problem all throughout the country. In my opinion, you should be, as a property owner, allowed to write a sworn affidavit out for the police saying, hey, this person has no right to be here, and they can be removed. Now, if the police remove the person at that point and it was a lie, they can come back and arrest you, okay? But if it's not a lie, well, you just got your property back. But anyway, let me continue. Opponents such as Housing California said the bill would worsen homelessness and that mechanisms already exist to remove trespassers. Rather than addressing the root causes of our state's housing crisis, AB 897 would accelerate pathways into homelessness, said Housing California. Landlords and tenants currently have access to civil eviction processes designed to address unauthorized occupancy. And my thing is, the people saying this stuff, they have never actually had to evict anybody. Okay? Never. That's what I find funny. You're going to ask a person for their opinion on the eviction process who has never evicted anybody. Hey, what's your opinion on evicted people? Oh, I think the process works great. How many times have you used it? None. I've never had to evict anybody. Well, then how the hell do you know if it works great? Okay? You don't. It's idiotic, okay? And these people are making the laws. They're the ones writing the laws. They have no clue how the system works. They have no clue how long it takes. They have no clue how much it's going to cost. Yet they're writing laws saying that, oh, well, you know what? It's easy. Idiots. They're idiots, okay? And I'm sick of hearing, they shouldn't even have a right to complain. They have no clue. Assembly Bill 897 would have required trespassers or squatters to provide documentation of their legal entry onto the property, such as a lease or a proof of rental payments, within 3 days or be subject to arrest. If documentation is provided, a magistrate would hold a hearing within 7 days to determine whether the documentation is properly executed or meritorious. That sounds so simple, okay? First of all, it's not like they can just come by and instantly remove the person. No, they have to come by and then say, hey, do you have, documentation saying that you're even supposed to be here? And then they give them a few days to come up with that documentation. And even, it doesn't say it has to be a lease even. It says here, proof of rental payments. So, yeah, if you are suddenly able to come up with, hey, look, I don't have a written lease, because, there's a lot of people out there who rent a property to somebody and then they don't give a lease. It's kind of like a more informal agreement. But if that person has proof that, hey, look, I was writing them checks every month, well, that still kind of shows that you are a tenant. But if you have zero proof, zero paperwork, nothing's written anywhere, the person over here is even saying that you're not a tenant, you got to go. It's that simple. Yet in California, they're more worried about, they're like, oh, well, where's this person going to go? They're not worried about a person's property rights. They're not worried about you being scammed and your property being stolen from you. They're worried about making sure that this person who stole your property has a roof over their head and that they don't end up on the streets. Well, they're a thief, so maybe they should be on the streets, okay? Maybe they should be in jail. That'll put a roof over their head right there. But no, they're so worried about their garbage homelessness issue. You know what? They shouldn't even listen to those morons saying that kind of stuff. They shouldn't. But they do. And this is part of the reason, I was reading something and it was somebody from California, and he was talking about the reasons why he left California. Okay? And part of it was because they punished the law-abiding people, the people who follow the rules, and then they reward those who break the law. Okay? They reward those who break the law, and then they punish those who follow the law. And that's a crumbling society issue right there. There's a reason why a lot of people are leaving, and that's it right there. And I can't stand this sort of thing, okay? But what do you think? Do you think that making it easier for landlords, property owners to remove squatters from properties, do you think that's a bad thing? Do you think that maybe we should be forced to house the squatters so that they don't end up homeless? Go ahead and put a comment in the comment section down below.